The woman who helped kidnap and abuse Elizabeth Smart when she was only 14 years old, released from prison. Her name is Wanda Barzee, age 72 now, but in custody for 15 years, and now she is free, and the Smart family is speaking out. Brett Tolman, prosecutor in the Elizabeth Smart matter, is our guest now at Salt Lake City. And sir, thank you for your time. First of all, from the attorney for the released, he said this about geographic restrictions that they're willing to consider here.
We have volunteered a condition restricting her geographically from certain areas that the Smart family might find themselves in.
Is that a way to resolve this, do you believe?
I think there are a couple of things that are important. I think a geographic restriction, but the no contact provision in her conditions was something that we were fighting to make sure was in there and that it was very broad.
It's just an incredibly difficult situation. I can't even imagine what this family is going through, Brett. For Elizabeth Smart, does she have any options as far as appealing this? I mean, it came as a shock to her release. It was
a very shocking moment to have that discussion. She called me. She wanted to know my thoughts. We explored some of the legal arguments that we might have or a basis to have the board reconsider. It was a moment of near panic, but she quickly got over that as she started to focus on what she was going to do going forward.
Yeah, I've heard her in various interviews, and she's clearly bothered by this, as you can imagine. Did the Smart team, did the prosecution side, did you have any recourse to fight this release?
You know, we did not have any legal recourse to change the decision that was made. They were basing their decision on statutes that apply and that gave her credit. Do I think there's some changes that we can do in the future? I do. And right now our only hope is that while she's being watched for 5 years, that if she does violate her conditions, she's immediately sent back to prison. What specifically are the conditions of her release that she has to adhere to? Well, you know, she has a curfew at 9 p.m. She has to live in an approved housing. She has the no contact rule, obviously. She has to have a job. If she's unemployed, then she has to have permission to seek certain jobs. She also has, and the most important thing for Elizabeth and for me, is she has requirements to participate in mental health treatment, including counseling and medication, and I think that is the most significant, at least to us.
She said it's just been a roller coaster of emotion for her, Elizabeth Smart. You can imagine what she's going through at the moment. Here's her father, Ed, who's been very public from the very beginning as well, and said this.
My concern is the predatory behavior, and if she's not willing to take help, not willing to take medication, I believe that she still poses a threat, hopefully not to Elizabeth and her children, but certainly to those that are around her.
Is that a significant problem, do you believe, in your view?
Yeah, you know, we know that individuals are going to get out of prison, but he's absolutely correct that if they don't participate in rehabilitative efforts, then they can continue to be a threat. And Elizabeth truly believes that she is a threat to vulnerable people still in our community.
And I know you've suggested there's ways to discuss how to address this in the future, our criminal justice system and the way this works, and you know, any possible changes going forward that might prevent a release of someone like this in the future. Yeah, final word.
That's exactly right. If we don't address the fact that 95% of all inmates are getting out, do we want them to get out with rehabilitation or without? As a country, we're going to be facing these problems.
Thank you, sir. Brett Tolman, prosecutor, Elizabeth Smart matter.
Thank you.
From Salt Lake City, thanks.